I am now thrilled to introduce Rob Baldoni, co-founder and CEO at DANNCE.AI. Both ResiQuant and Dance are one of the latest additions to our LDV Capital portfolio, which we are very excited about. DANCE.AI originated at Harvard in 2016, developed by Dr. Tim Dunn and Dr. Jesse Marshall to study movement circuits. Tim refined it at Duke, where he met Rob Baldoni, now leading its commercialization. In August 2024, they licensed Dance from Harvard and Duke to move it from research to clinical use. Rob's keynote is titled, "Using AI to Quantify Movement, Boost Drug Efficacy, and Improve Lives of People with Movement Disorders." Good to see you, Rob. Take it away.
Thanks so much for the introduction, Ash. It's great to be here, and I'm very excited to share with all of you how DANCE.AI is automating the clinical examination of movement to make neurological care more accessible and personalized. Our company is a spin-out from Harvard and Duke University. It's co-founded by myself, Dr. Timothy Dunn of Duke Biomedical Engineering, and Dr. Jesse Marshall. We formed DANCE.AI with the mission of developing automated diagnostics and patient management tools for the clinical examination of movement, and also to develop novel digital endpoints for pharma to develop neurological assets. Since forming the company, our team has grown to a team of 7 awesome individuals. You'll see some representative publications of the company on the left side of the screen. You'll see some great investors on the right. As Ash mentioned, LDV Capital led our pre-seed financing, which closed in Q4 of 2024. Also mentioned that we won the Sanofi IdeaTech competition in 2024 and have an early collaboration with them. And then we have some news on the company below. Currently, over 40 million Americans suffer from a movement disorder, with a total economic burden exceeding 200 billion. And this number is only set to increase. What's missing is real-time diagnosis and phenotyping of disease capabilities, a lack of objective tools to monitor patient changes over time, and a lack of tools that can assist clinicians and act as co-pilots to optimize a patient's care regimen. As an example, we provided the current gold standard for characterizing motor impairment in Parkinson's patients. This is called the UPDRS assessment. When a clinician is administering this assessment, they watch a patient perform 25 different tasks and then rate them on a 0 to 4 scale. Naturally, one clinician's impression of a 2 may vary from another clinician's impression of a 2. The variability of using a scale like this is well documented. It may also not come as a surprise to know that in the current standard of care for Parkinson's, there's almost a 50% misdiagnosis rate. We find this unacceptable and find it crazy that in 2025, we're still using the oldest form of visual technology around, our eyes, to characterize motor impairment in humans. We developed DANCE.AI to overcome this problem and commercialize our company's core technology, Dance, which was originally developed for use in animal neuroscience to characterize the movement and behavior of animals. The way Dance works is it takes multiple videos from input from off-the-shelf cameras, and then can use machine learning to perform markerless pose estimation of where a subject is in 3D space. This is the first core innovation of the technology. The second is a behavioral analysis layer. But the way that this first innovation works, as mentioned, is we take these multiple colored videos, we can then feed them into a 3D geometric deep learning algorithm. And then using this algorithm, we can reconstruct where a subject is in 3D space. You see this kinematic trace being generated on the right side of the screen. Since we're measuring movement in 3 dimensions, we're generating 3 dimensions of behavior. We can then feed this kinematic information into our behavioral analysis layer of the algorithm. And here we use unsupervised methods to characterize all of the observable behaviors that a human or animal exhibits during the window of observation. And as a result, we create this map in the bottom right corner, which is a map of just all the observed behaviors. And we can introduce an intervention and then understand how this map shifts in real time to understand if there's a realized benefit of a drug. So we have a lot of success doing this work in animals. I'm happy to inform you we've succeeded in translating it to use in humans. I have some of that data to show you. This was collected in collaboration with Duke Neurology. You can see this Parkinson's patient in the top panel here walking and exhibiting stereotypical features of the disease: shuffled gait, stoop posture, asymmetry across the midline. We can then contrast this with a healthy person walking in the bottom of the screen and see qualitatively that there are differences in both of these individuals' gaits. What's exciting is we can then feed this information into a dashboard, which can provide a clinician with insights in real time that are objective about a patient's function. As an example, we have a patient here who is Parkinson's, who has 2 recorded patient visits, as well as data on the average healthy baseline. The blue region corresponds to the most recent clinical visit, and we can see that when the patient most recently presented to the clinician, they had an elevated and exaggerated arm swing asymmetry, as well as elbow flexion asymmetry. We can then see the current labels that are used as part of the current standard of care on the right side of the screen. So we're really excited about how visual technology and AI will transform the neurological standard of care. If we can put cameras in the patient's exam room, then we can enable clinicians to have an objective tool to phenotype disease and drive better patient outcomes. Second, if we can put cameras in an at-home setting, we can enable the passive acquisition of quality of life data that can help clinicians have a better understanding of how the patient is doing at home. And lastly, if we can provide pharma with a tool to better characterize motor output, we can enable a more efficient drug development pathway for neurological therapeutics. Thanks again for your time today to listen to how DANCE.AI's unique approach is automating the clinical examination of movement to make neurological care more accessible and personalized.